And joining me now to discuss this more is Corinne Johnson, the co-founder of Utah Parents United. Corinne, thanks for being here.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us more about what's happening in Utah and what can be done to stop this covert teaching.
Well, I wish I could tell you that we were surprised here in Utah having received this footage. We received it on Friday and started sharing it through our social media channels with Utah Parents United. We reach about 90,000 parents here in Utah that have started to wake up and realize that our education system isn't being honest with us. And when we started sharing this, the responses were like, we've been telling our educators and our administrators and our legislators and our school board members this for years. We've actually been tracking instances in schools, and we have a reporting hotline that we use where parents tell us, hey, my kid had to do a white privilege walk today. My student was shamed because they're a white male in my classroom. This student was required to fill out an SEL circle that said that they were part of a white privilege circle. And so we are not surprised in Utah, but we are glad to hear it from the mouths of these educators themselves and wake more parents up.
Yeah, for sure. And so then in terms of parents, what do they do to fight back? You mentioned this hotline, you're trying to get, you have the numbers. You should have the numbers at least, but the unions are powerful. The school districts are powerful in and of themselves. The money flows in. How do you kind of beat the system, or not beat the system, but fight the system and win?
It is challenging. We do recognize there's a lot of power in the unions here in Utah, and we are looking to legislators to help us fight this. We have to have their support. We can't do it alone, and we have to be loud. We have to get up to Capitol Hill. We have to get in committee meetings, and we have to ask for very specific types of things to protect parents. We need legislation that codifies that we can't take critical race theory or any form of critical race theory in our classrooms. We need teacher accountability. They need to know there's a punishment if they break the law. We need teacher training. We're the ones going into the schools and training our administrators on, hey, your teacher can't ask my kid their pronouns. That's bringing sexuality and gender into the classroom, and they can't do that. And the teachers don't know what they can and can't do. So we need teacher training. And then most importantly, what we need is some way to push back against the unions. And we have legislators in Utah who are doing that too, who are saying that unions have to start disclosing to school districts how many members they actually have as part of their union, because they are not representative of all teachers. I just have to say this, David, that these teachers that don't follow the law, they give all teachers a bad name, and that's not fair.
Yep.
There are great teachers, and these teachers need to get out of the unions. They need to stop supporting this, and they need to say, we don't support teachers who break the law because we follow the law.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. You're absolutely right. Help me out on the legislative front here. Don't they have rules on the books or laws on the books passed against critical race theory, or hasn't that been done, or no? Am I missing that?
So in Utah, the legislature passed a resolution, but they failed to codify that resolution in law.
Aha.
So currently, we are demanding that they do this. And what's interesting is in Utah, they really tried to take the middle ground approach. We're not going to codify the resolution, but we're going to create an ethnic studies commission. Well, the ethnic studies commission has been hijacked. It is now the way they are putting critical race theory into our schools. So at this point, we're like, shame on us. We should have known better. But the only way to handle this is true teacher accountability. And something has to happen to teachers when they break the law. And, it's a hard place to come from. We get labeled as teacher haters. We get labeled as enemies of public education. Goodness, parents have been labeled domestic terrorists, David.
Yeah.
But it's time that we really say, you know what? It's not fair to all teachers. We have to say good teachers are good, and teachers that break the law must be held accountable.
And just to clarify, in Utah, if it's a resolution, there's not much teeth in that, right? There's no teeth in that, or is there?
So the USBE passed a rule, and so there is a rule in the schools. There's a rule that says that you cannot teach anything that says one race is superior to another race, or that one race is responsible for the actions of another race. So that is a rule. But they're not following the rule. And like I said, like in the video, you heard it, there are loopholes in these rules intentionally. And the teachers, they know what the loopholes are, and they use those loopholes to undermine parents. Parents have made it loud and clear what we want in Utah, and the educators are undermining what parents want, and that's the right to teach our own values, our own attitudes, and our own beliefs to our own children.
Yeah, that's they get around it that way, and then of course they get into the whole diversity and racial inclusion and this and that, and so they backdoor it all day long, and it's easy to do. Let's be honest, it's easy to do from their standpoint. I want to talk about a piece of news today that came out that relates to this. The College Board has rolled back its plans to launch a new African American history course. It was loaded with extremist ideology on LGBT and racial issues. So good news, the board dropped language associated with queer, Black Americans, as well as material focused on far-left critical race theory and Black feminism. So there does seem to be some progress here, but it's like it never stops. It's pedal to the metal every day, Corinne.
Yes, we actually feel that. We feel like we've gotten on top of an issue and gotten awareness out, and then the next thing hits and the next thing hits. But it is good to see that there is some response on the College Board level. The AP tests that our kids are subjected to in school are filled with indoctrination. For example, the AP history test doesn't even cover the founding fathers. So we know that a lot of this happening in our schools is trickling down from higher education. And I'm thrilled to see the College Board take a stand. We need Utah to take a stand and disband the Ethnic Studies Commission, to take a step back and to really look at what we need to do to make sure that our children are not taught harmful and divisive theories in our schools.
I got about 20 seconds. Give me a website or a place people can go to get more information about what you guys are doing over there in Utah.
Yes. Thank you, David. Go to utahparentsunited.org. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter as well at Utah Parents United.
All right. I appreciate you, Corinne. And when they look up Salt of the Earth, you're there along with everybody out there in Utah doing the good fight. Thank you so much.